nutritional advice is backed by research, the PCOS diet.
So with PCOS, we talk a lot about hormones and androgens. There's so much emphasis on this, which is true to some extent. But actually, I find it really important to consider the root causes of this condition. It can be quite complicated in terms of diet, lifestyle, genetics. Ultimately, considering the root causes can help to guide how you manage the condition, and hopefully the science helps to back this as well. And one important underlying factor when it comes to PCOS is blood sugar regulation. So the science does explore this, and with that in mind, helps to explore some tactics for helping to manage the condition. So aiming to include an unprocessed diet. So processed foods are more likely to include higher, unhelpful, refined carbohydrate content, and also inflammatory fats as well. Limiting smoking was another theme that comes up in the research, which isn't so surprising. Then moving little and often, so gentle exercise is something that's very important for inflammation, body composition, and blood sugar balance. So carbohydrate quantity, quality, and the glycemic index of foods is a really important dietary factor to consider, because we are primarily thinking of blood sugar balance here. So the quality of your carbohydrates, trying to go for more complex carbs. Fiber is a really important factor in managing PCOS. Fiber also translates into better variety and spectrum of good gut bacteria, which is another really important factor. They themselves, your bacteria, have their own set of benefits. Not just the direct effect of the carbs, but those secondary effects of feeding your good gut bacteria properly. So carbohydrates are a really, really major one to consider. Then in terms of the other macronutrients, so healthy fats, good sources of protein with every meal and snack, because these naturally help to dampen the effects of carbohydrates in our diet. So it's not that we can't have carbs, but to think of the quality and to think of the balance of our meals and snacks in terms of the carbohydrate content versus the other macronutrients. Sleep deprivation is another interesting one. So although I like to talk about nutrition, I also like to think about factors that ultimately influence our nutrition. So sleep deprivation, research has shown, can upset our blood sugar balance, our insulin sensitivity, and also can influence our cravings and desire to eat more high energy foods. So sleep is definitely a factor to consider when it comes to the overall management of PCOS. Then research has also showed that people with PCOS may be at higher risk of deficiencies. So it's a bit of a chicken or egg situation, but if we can think of prioritizing some of these nutrients through our diet and supplements, then they may be protective. So there's fiber, as I've mentioned, omega-3, which is very anti-inflammatory. So that would come from eating a Mediterranean style diet, or you could add in extra supplements. But I would always say just to look at the dietary sources first. Calcium, magnesium, zinc. So lots of these comes from eating a whole food, simple ingredient, unprocessed diet, but you can also get supplements of magnesium, particularly protective of blood sugar balance and insulin sensitivity. So that's one I would often recommend to supplement in, to get some extra in there. And then your B vitamins and vitamin D. Vitamin D, we definitely need supplements. Sensible sun exposure is a must, but limited depending where you live. So definitely get a supplement of vitamin D in there. B vitamins, depending on your diet, you might want to add in a supplement, especially if you're vegetarian or vegan. So B vitamins as well are one to consider, but we can get it through eating a nice variety of those complex carbs that I mentioned, good quality carbohydrates. Processed foods was another one just to consider. There was some correlations with salt and cholesterol in the diet. So as I've said, a whole food diet, and also considering your liver health as well, because your liver actually manufactures a lot of the majority of cholesterol in the body. So this is a key digestive organ that I often say to have a look at, and someone like a nutritionist can help you to do that, to really support the liver properly. I hope it helps. Please do leave comments or questions, and if the topic of PCOS interests you, please do let me know.